So I am a very vivid dreamer, and growing up I basically categorize it as like left side and right side of the brain. So when I dream, I have a left side of the dreamland basically, and that is kind of where I know that it's not real. Like, I could dream almost anything. I could be flying, I could be falling, it could be literally anything. But my right side of the brain is very realistic and very spiritual most of the time. However, growing up, I had a really hard time deciphering what was real and what was not real, because it felt real. There was no other word for that. But it took a long time for me to decipher between the two of what was, actually happening and what was in my dreams. Growing up, there later became a symbol that kind of helped me decipher that this was just a dream. So when I go into that state of sleep and things feel realistic, or I feel like it's real, I kind of look for that symbol to help me realize, is this really a dream or is this really happening in my real life? And 9 times out of 10, I can find that symbol almost anywhere, whether it be the floor, the doorway. I found it on a rug once. It was on the back of someone's jacket. All kinds of different types of things. So that symbol basically kind of tells me that I'm okay, or that this is just, temporary. It's just a moment. You're going to wake up and it's going to be fine. So I look for that security. So the dreams I had tonight, I could not find that symbol anywhere. And the dreams that I had tonight were extremely real. So I was diagnosed with PCOS and endometriosis, and I've had abnormal bleeding most of my life. And sometimes that bleeding can be extremely bad. I had several events where it would happen in public or at a friend's house on their couch. And it's things like this that really make you uncomfortable and make you, I guess, like, worried to be doing anything. It makes me tired sometimes. But I think the biggest fear growing up was that I was going to bleed out somewhere in public and someone was going to have something to say about it, because people are sometimes just mean like that. And I've had it happen several times in public. So this first dream that I had, I went to my boyfriend's house and I was laying in his bed and he was like, come cuddle me, let's lay down. And basically we got ready for bed. And the next thing I know, we woke up and he was like yelling at me. And he was like, why would you come over here if you're just going to bleed all over the place? You bled all over my bed. You bled all over my blankets. You bled on me. And I can't believe you would do this. And I remember, like, I was apologizing and I was looking around for the symbol and there was none. So this was real. This was really happening to me. And I couldn't believe that he would talk to me like this or treat me like this, because that is absolutely abnormal, out of his character, for him to talk to me like that. So as I'm searching for that symbol, I'm like, what exactly is happening right now? And suddenly I wake up. When I wake up, I'm in this panic and I search my own bed and the lights are off. Usually the TV is on, but the TV was off. I couldn't see nothing. And so for a moment I was thinking, am I at his house? Did this really happen? Did he really talk to me like that, make me feel like that? And once I stood up and adjusted my eyes, I realized I was in my own room in my own house, and that was no way possible that happened. But when it did, it felt so real, and the symbol wasn't there. It was the first time ever in my life that I didn't have that symbol. So I ended up laying back down and I went back to sleep, and I had a second dream. The second dream was way worse. It was so intense. So in my dream, I had everything that I wanted: the house, the car, pretty much whatever you want to call it, right? And I was in the kitchen with the boys and I was making them popcorn, and my boyfriend came up to me and he was like, hey, I want you to come down to the basement and you're gonna come talk to me down there, and I don't want you to question it, but this is for me. And of course I'm just like, oh yeah, babe, I got you, no worries. I'm just gonna finish up with the popcorn and I'll be right down. So I finished the popcorn and I come down to the basement, and I guess, like, the way the basement's set up, there's a couch. It's like a sectional, like a half sectional. It's like a U, and there's one spot where you can sit, like, dominantly. So, like, there's like armrest on both sides, and that's where he was sitting. And then his ex was sitting right next to it. And my first thought was, it's weird that she's in my basement. Like, why is she here? And then I sit down next to her and I'm listening to them have this conversation, but I'm annoyed. I'm so annoyed. Like, why is this girl in my house? Oh, and it feels like it's been years. Like, I'm way older. So I'm like, why is this girl in my house? Like, what is going on? So at some point she starts going like and giving her little like memory lane about their life, and he's giggling too, and I'm getting pissed, like furious, and I can feel it in my body. So I'm starting to look around for the symbol like I normally do, and it's not there. This is really happening to me, or at least that's what I'm thinking. I'm feeling that this is really happening. So I end up marching off and going outside to get some fresh air. And when I do, I step up on the stairs, and there's like a crack in the basement window, and I see him kiss her. Like, he leaned in and he kissed her, and every fiber in my body was livid. Like, I could not believe the betrayal. I could not believe him. And suddenly I woke up. Okay. But when I woke up, it wasn't like a relief, like, oh my gosh, thank God that was a dream. No, I was still freaking livid. Like, every fiber inside of me just wanted to rage. I wanted to hit him. I wanted to hit her. I wanted to hit everybody. I wanted to throw things, and my body was like, I was sweating. Everything was intense. It was so intense. And when I sat up, so I knew I was in my room, and I knew there was no way that happened, or at least I'm thinking, but I'm still really jumbled. Like, I couldn't understand why I didn't see the symbol, and it felt extremely real, like realistic. And I end up standing up, and I try to turn on, like, all my lights were off for some reason again, and the TV was off, and that's very abnormal for me. I usually sleep with the TV on. So I get up and the TV's off, and I go to flip the switch and the light won't come on. So I'm like, okay. So I go out to my kitchen, and I can see the microwave light is on, the oven light is on. So I flip that switch, but that light won't come on. And I'm like, what the crap is happening right now? So I go back into my room to go get my cell phone to see if maybe it's something with the breaker, and kind of something just tells me, like, just sit down, relax, girl. So I sit on the bed, and I sit there for a moment collecting all the thoughts that just happened to me. And as I'm sitting there, like, I'm like, I need to calm down. Now, I couldn't get the TV to come back on because for whatever reason it just wouldn't. Maybe I was really tired. It is like 2:30 in the morning or something like that at that point, so it's hard to say. So I pick up my cell phone, and my boyfriend actually showed me this app called Living Scriptures, and it plays all kinds of different, like, little movies and tidbits and stuff like that. So I go to some things that kind of like make me feel a little bit better. Like, we're gonna put some positivity back in here, and we're gonna go back to sleep, and we're gonna sleep, and it's gonna be okay. But nothing was doing it for me. Like, I couldn't stay focused. I just didn't want to watch it, I guess. So I go to Facebook, and I actually sometimes listen to his videos because I find his voice kind of smoothing, especially when I miss him. And plus, he doesn't talk nonsense. The things that he says, he fully 100% means, and it's comforting for me. So I go to listen to one of his videos, and he posted a new one, the one I haven't even heard. And as I'm laying in bed, and I'm like kind of half-eyed open, I'm listening to him talk about the topic, and this one was about, like, his dad. But somewhere along the lines where I'm drifting in and out, he ends up start talking about me, and it was kind of like the assurance that I needed to hear. I needed to hear that. He had no idea that I was gonna have these nightmares. He had no idea that I was feeling this. But in that moment, I was like, wait, are we talking about me? Me? He's talking about me, the love of his life. So I rewound the video and was like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? Anything can't touch me, because that was about me. So laying back down the third time, oh my gosh, the third time I went back to sleep, it was definitely a different vibe going into my dream. Now, like I said, sometimes I do dream with my right side of the brain, which is, for me, it's a more realistic and more spiritual. So when I lay back down the third time, this dream, I'm alone and I'm walking. And normally when I have a spiritual dream, I don't want to go too much into detail about it because it's a very personal thing for me, but basically it's like a meeting point, and I go to this meeting point, and then I talk with God pretty much. I have these conversations, and it gives me like a purpose. It helps me identify things that I need to do, or people I need to reach out to, and stuff like that. So in this third dream, I'm walking, and I'm walking to where I normally would go, and it's dark though. And it doesn't, usually all my dreams on this side usually are like warm and loving, but the last two were not. Okay, and this one wasn't dark, but it was just dark, like vision wise. It was dark in the room. And as I'm walking, I'm basically questioning him, like, why couldn't I see the symbol that you've given me? Like, I've had this all my life, and you know, clearly those were just nightmares, so why all of a sudden can I not see it? Like, I don't understand. And all of a sudden, like, this voice is basically telling me that when I'm with him, dating him, being with him, together we are a strong couple, and together we are great. We're going to have great purpose. We're going to have a great light between us, and we're going to help a lot of people. However, with great light and great responsibility and greatness all around, things that aren't great definitely want to take that from us. And usually when there's good things, bad things come because they want to break you down. And in this scenario for me, he also said that I am the weaker one, which I hate saying, but it is true. I am the weaker one because my faith is a little, it could definitely use some strengthening in certain areas, as well as just being a better, overall just being better. So in this case, being the weaker one isn't necessarily a bad thing, but he implied that me being the weaker one just meant that I was going to be the easier target. Like, I was going to be the one that was going to be attacked because for whatever reason, being so great together and being in this relationship, there are things that don't want that relationship to happen. There are people that don't want the relationship to happen. There's just an underlining defiance into it. And when that does happen, of course it's going to go for the weaker one because you want to break it down. And after I had that talk, the floor kind of started glowing and the symbol was there. The symbol was there. I remember I was digging in the dirt and I was like wiping it away, and the symbol was glowing bigger than I have ever seen it before. And I knew that this wasn't real, like in life, but it was real for me. The conversation was 100% real. So I woke up the third time and I was extremely tired, but the TV was on and it was comforting, and I kind of ended up going back to sleep. I was exhausted the whole next day, but the next day was Friday, the day I was going to go see my boyfriend. And I remember thinking, like, all week long was kind of weird for me. Like, this past several months, I've been extremely happy. My mental health has been great. My family is doing better. In the beginning of the year, we lost my dad, and we had some other hardships come across, but everything we've managed to come together and, you know, kind of be there for one another. So my mental health hasn't been terrible, and I haven't been depressed. And last week, I remember it was like, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, I was so depressed. I could not even for the life of me get out of any funk. And normally, if you know me, my depression is what I call manageable. So for me, manageable depression is basically where I do get sad, I do get upset or overwhelmed, and generally I can talk myself out of it. Like, I can go for a walk or take a shower or, you know, whatever, and just kind of sway the funk, basically. And I'm usually pretty good at it, but for whatever reason, I could not. And I remember I went to bed super early and I was just tired. My endometriosis and PCOS has been acting up extremely hard this past week. And then on top of that, I had all these nightmares. And I started thinking about what was said to me. Like, I am the weaker one. And for whatever reason, when good things come together, bad things just don't want it to be together. For whatever reason, it did not want me to basically go to Salisbury. It did not want me to see him. And it was trying its hardest to basically defeat me all week long. And if I wasn't as, I guess, headstrong, or maybe have as much faith and support that I do have, I definitely could see myself giving into that, because the fears that it attacked in my nightmares were definitely, like, not necessarily any of the fears that I really do have, because I don't have that fear per se anymore with my endometriosis, and I don't have that fear with him cheating or anything like that, because that's just, if you knew us, you would know that that was not the case. But whatever was attacking me knew that at one point my weaker self, my younger self, definitely had those fears, and it was feeding on what it thought could break me down. But the thing is when we're young and we have those fears and we have people surrounding us with that negativity. It is easy to give into those things. I could easily see why it chose those nightmares. I could easily see why it chose to attack my depression or my body. I could understand why it wanted me to not do what I was destined to do. That was definitely a rough one. But when I woke up and I prayed about it, and I wanted to talk to my boyfriend, but he was dead asleep. And like I said, it's like 4 a.m. So I knew I would see him eventually on Friday anyway. But you have to have faith, and you have to trust that, you know, he's there to protect us, and he loves us unconditionally, and he's going to give us the strength to walk through anything. And the moment that I relaxed and listening to, you know, my boyfriend's video and kind of like just praying and relaxing, I started to breathe a little bit better. And when I went back to sleep, like that third time, that dream, I'm telling you, like, it was him just telling me that, you know, he's still here, he still has me, that I just have to, you know, trust and keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and that it's going to be okay.